Good morning and welcome to GK Trick India. Today we will study making of the Indian Constitution from Indian polity. And to understand this, majorly we will cover who led the demand for Constituent Assembly, who were the members of the Constituent Assembly, who were the members of the major committees that were under the Assembly, how it performed, what all functions that it performed, what are the important facts related to Constituent Assembly, and a few criticisms to the Assembly. So to begin with, let us study who led the demand for Constituent Assembly and finally how was it formed. M.N. Roy was the pioneer of the Constitution Assembly. In 1934, M.N. Roy, who was also the Constitutional Advisor and the legal advisor of the Assembly, laid the idea of Assembly. In 1935, Indian National Congress was the first one to lay the demand officially that they want an assembly to frame the Constitution. 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on the behalf of Indian National Congress, said that the Indian Constitution will be formed by the Indian Constituent Assembly that will be elected on the basis of adult franchise without any outsider being member of it. In 1948, demand accepted by British government in August offer, and in 1942, Stafford Cripps came to India on behalf of the British government and laid a few draft policies on how the assembly was to be formed. But unfortunately, it was not accepted and rejected by Muslim League on the basis that it wanted a divided autonomous units. In 1946, Cabinet Mission Plan came to India with a scheme to form assembly, and that met with success and it was accepted by the Indians. How was it composed when it was formed? So to understand, the body was not completely elected nor was it completely nominated. So is to say that it was partly elected and partly nominated body. Members of the British province were indirectly elected by the members of Provincial Assembly, who were then elected by on the basis of adult franchise, on the basis of proportional representation and single transferable voting system. So here we know that the members of the assembly were not directly elected. The representatives of the princely states were nominated by heads of the princely states and they were not elected. Seats were allotted on the proportion to their respective population except of Muslims and Sikhs. All other population was given one seat for a million of population. The total strength of the Constituent Assembly was 389 seats, out of which 296 were to British India and 93 were for princely states. 296 for British India were divided among Governor's Province and Chief Commissioner's Province, that were 292 from 11 Governor's Province and 4 from Chief Commissioner's Province. 296 seats of British Province were divided among 3 principal communities. The reservation was provided for Muslims, Sikhs and General. There was no other reservation for Anglo-Indian community or any other community. To understand the elections to the Constituent Assembly that were held in July-August 1946, we should know that princely state boycotted the elections and they did not participate in the elections. So the elections were held only for 296 seats that were allotted to British India provinces. Out of 296 seats, 208 were won by Indian National Congress, 73 were won by Muslim League and 15 were won by independent members. We should know that all the members from all the sections, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Parsi, Anglo-Indians, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, all women were not kept away from the assembly and they were all members of the assembly. Apart from Mahatma Gandhi, all the important leaders of independence movement were part of the assembly. How did it work? The first meeting of the Constituent Assembly was held on 9th December 1946. And the meeting was attended by 211 members of the assembly, as the remaining seats were left vacant because Muslim League boycotted and insisted on a separate state. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, being the oldest member of the assembly, was elected as a temporary president of Constituent Assembly, and then a formal election was held to elect Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the president of the Constituent Assembly. At that point of time, we had 2 vice presidents of the Constituent Assembly, that they were H.C. Mukherjee and V.T. Krishnamachari. Objective resolution that was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru on December 13, 1946 and was adopted on January 22, 1946 had a few modified versions that formed the preamble of present constitution, that is the basic philosophy of the Indian constitution. The few things that read common in both the preamble and objective resolution were independent sovereign republic, states and territories willing to be constituted into the independent sovereign India shall be union of them all. States and union territories shall possess and retain status of autonomous units with all the powers and functions except of those that were given to the center. Power of the Constituent Assembly or the leaders were derived from the people. Guaranteed and secured to all the people justice, social, economic, political, equality of status of opportunity and before the law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, vocation, association and action, adequate safeguards for minority, backward and tribal areas. Changes that were brought in by the Indian Independence Act 1947 that was laid by Lord Mountbatten on June 3, 1947 were Constituent Assembly made fully sovereign body, that is, it was empowered to make any changes to the existing British provincial laws. Constituent Assembly not only was a constitutional body but was also a legislative body, or to say was the first parliament of the free India, as it performed the various functions of legislating the acts and making the acts. While legislating the acts, it was a legislative body and headed by G.V. Malvankar, and while formulating the laws, it was a constitutional body and was headed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Both the bodies came to end on November 26, 1949 when the constitution was adopted. Other functions that were performed by Constituent Assembly was that it ratified India's membership of Commonwealth in May 1949, but it never hindered India's sovereignty. It adopted the Indian national flag on July 22, 1947, adopted national anthem and national song on January 24, 1950, and it elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first President of India on January 24, 1950. The drafting committee of Indian Constitution was set up on August 29, 1947, entrusted with the task of preparing a draft of the new constitution. Members were Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, Dr. K. M. Munshi, Syed Muhammad Sadullah, N. Madhav Rao, T. T. Krishnamachari. N. Madhav Rao and T. T. Krishnamachari are important and to be remembered because they were not originally part of the drafting committee, rather they replaced the existing members. Like N. Madhav Rao replaced B. L. Mittal, who resigned due to ill health, and T. T. Krishnamachari replaced D. P. Khaitan, who dies in 1948. Major committees of the Constitution were Union Powers Committee, Union Constitution Committee, States Committee that was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, Provincial Constitutional Committee, Advisory Committee of Fundamental Rights, Minority, Tribal and Excluded Area was headed by Sardar Patel. Rules of Procedure Steering Committee was headed by Rajendra Prasad. Enactment of the Constitution. The final draft of Constitution in Assembly on November 1948 by Dr. Ambedkar. The motion on draft was declared as passed on November 26, 1949. The original constitution that was adopted on 26 November 1949 contained a preamble, 395 articles, 8 schedules and 22 parts. The constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. There were a few criticisms to the Constituent Assembly it was not a representative body. It was not a sovereign body, it was time consuming, dominated by Congress, lawyer political domination, dominated by Hindus. Important facts apart from enacting a constitution that were about the Constituent Assembly was that the symbol of the Constituent Assembly was elephant. Sir B.N. Rao was appointed as a constitutional advisor or legal advisor. Many times students get confused about legal advisor being Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar or B.N. Rao. So please do not make this mistake. H.V.R. Iyengar was secretary. S.N. Mukherjee was the chief draftsman of the constitution. Prem Bihari Narayan Rai Zada was the calligrapher of the constitution and was handwritten by him in flowing italic style. The original version was beautified and decorated by artists from Shantiniketan, included Nandlal Bose and Bihar Ram Manohar Sinha. The calligraphy of the Hindi version of the original constitution was done by Vasant Krishna Vaidya. I have given 2 practice questions at the end of these slides. I would suggest you may go through these questions so that you may better assess how well you understood the chapter. Thank you for joining me in for this session, and I hope I get to teach you ahead in future.